Going in game 3 here. Game 3 is going to be played on Tempi. I'm playing as RUS, and he is playing as Abbasid. You know, this was on the new patch where RUS did get changed significantly. They redid the bounty system, and I had like basically not even like a day to practice the new RUS. I, watched some streamers. I think I saw Demu do a RUS opening. Just seeing what players are doing to give me an idea of how I want to do this. So this, you could say this is maybe an even matchup. Maybe it's Abbasid favored, maybe it's RUS favored. I don't really know at the moment. I have played this matchup a ton in the past, and I do remember RUS having like a really good timing versus Abbasid, where maybe you can just push with like archers and knights. Maybe you do a 1 TC archer knight push, or you could do a 2 TC archer knight push. But this was like a classic matchup back in the day where it was probably a little bit RUS favored. Yeah, just doing that kind of knight archer ram timing push can sometimes be really strong versus Abbasid, but I feel like this matchup could probably go either way. So yeah, with the new RUS, I end up just building a 1 hunting cabin and training. I believe I trained just 1 scout. So you no longer kill deer because you don't get bounty from killing deer. So that whole mini game, it no longer exists in the game. So you ignore deer and you ignore wolves, but you still want to build a hunting cabin just to get some gold generation. And you might as well train a 2nd scout just because you can get more sheep with it. You're not idling a TC or anything, so it just, yeah, it makes sense to train a 2nd scout. But yeah, I only do a 2nd one. You could maybe do a 3rd depending on what civ you're playing against, but you don't really need a 3rd civ, so just gonna stay on 2 scouts here and just try to get as many sheep as I can. And yeah, we'll kind of take a look at Filisberto's base here. So he, just normal Abbasid stuff so far. And yeah, this is Tempi, so there's like this natural wall here. And it's kind of interesting because one player has like the cliff by their TC and the other player doesn't. So it's kind of like inverse spawns. It's probably good that he has this spawn because he's going to want to play this defensive, and so it's good that he has this natural wall. It's actually really nice, right? Because he could place like a wall right here, and then all of a sudden this section's cut off. Sometimes you can do like a wall from like here to here, and then the units would have to go through the TC fire in order to like come this direction. So yeah, having this natural wall is really good for if you're trying to play defensively, as Abbasid generally wants to. Yeah, so he ends up doing Military Wing 2H2, which, maybe it's okay. Excuse me. I mean, maybe it's okay. Like, RUS usually is going to be doing the Kremlin, so, a lot of times RUS villagers are just, like, impossible to attack early on, because they're either, like, underneath the town center, or they're, like, underneath the Kremlin, so, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it to do Military Wing. You just maybe can't harass with the free units. With that said, you could like camp on board and you can like deny boar, so prevent your opponent from going on hunt. So it's not horrible, but I'm not sure if it would be my favorite choice. So yeah, anyways, I end up building the Kremlin back here. I see a gold mine. I see a gold mine here and stone mine. So yeah, I figured why not build it here. I could maybe build it closer to this hunt, but then I wouldn't have my gold mine protected. So I kind of want to just protect my gold mine. I do have a weird spawn on this map where there's like an insane amount of gold here, which it looks very odd, but it's not really relevant to the game. Like, gold is, people get so stressed on like or concerned about like gold starving an opponent, but it kind of just doesn't really exist in Age of Empires 4. Like, you can basically go to the imp age on your starting gold mine. Like, gold just lasts so long. You can make a massive 200 pop army that costs food and wood, right? So like, gold matters. Yeah, this would matter later in the game, but this wouldn't matter until like 40 minutes into the game, right? Like, it's not, I don't know, gold just isn't very relevant in Age of Empires 4, which is kind of weird. Like, in Age of Mythology, the game like revolves around gold starving your opponents, but in AoE 4, it's not like that at all. Like, you basically like gold starve people when you're in like imp in AoE 4. Like, yeah, the AK gold mines matter when you're in like the imp age, but like I said, you can probably go imp on your starting gold mine, which is like weird and kind of insane, but that's just, it is what it is. That's just AoE 4. So yeah, I actually looks like I end up doing 1 TC here. I think I was debating going second TC. Yeah, I think I was debating going second TC Roost, which is probably more meta to like build a second TC and then maybe be aggressive. But I think I was having like mixed results, and like on paper it should be the better option, but it's weird. Sometimes like on paper something should be the better option, but then you test it out and it has like a bad win rate, and you're like, why is this not working when it should obviously be the better strategy? But sometimes you kind of want to just go against like go with the statistics. Like if something's not working out, just don't do it, even if it should, you know, work out on paper. So, and I feel like every time I play Roost and I do one TC Roost, like I feel like I always have a lot of success with one TC Roost for whatever reason, right? And it's like on paper maybe it doesn't make sense. Like why would you do one TC with Roost? But like I said, sometimes on paper something doesn't make sense, but then when you look at like the win rates and if it actually works out, it's a completely different story. So yeah, I end up just trying to do one TC Roost. This was a build I practiced slightly, where I'm actually trying to rush a barracks, and yeah, the age 1, early age 2 is a little bit different with Roost now that the bounty systems are reworked. They're a little bit slower to start because they don't get as much gold through bounty early on. So I think the Roost did get nerfed. They because yeah, their early game is nerfed like quite significantly. They still feel for most part like the same civ, but yeah, I think they are worse, which is a good change because they were too strong. So yeah, so now I'm getting wheelbarrow, getting double broadaxe. I had to put some villagers on gold, so the build order is a little bit different, but and yeah, as you see, you know, these are his free units, but there's just literally nothing for his units to attack, right? My villas are underneath the town center, impossible to attack these villas. All of these villas are on top of the Kremlin. It's impossible to do any damage. Like, there's literally nothing these units could do. So, that's why I'm not always the biggest fan of Military Wing. I guess the only thing he really could do with these is, like, okay, he can maybe lame the hunt. Where that's one thing that he doesn't do. I kind of hate, like, laming hunt. It kind of feels like it shouldn't be in the game, but I don't know, like, you know, players do it, you kind of have to do it. It makes sense. So, like, maybe the best thing he could have done is, like, push all these deer back and, like, kill them over here and, like, spread them out, kill them, you know, far apart. Yeah, I mean, that's really the only thing these units could have done, so, yeah. Or, yeah. So he ends up going for this quick TC, does wheelbarrow into fast TC, which is, you know, pretty good. I do have a knight here, which could maybe get here in time. I think I end up not going all the way there because I feel like, oh, I don't know, maybe he won't get there in time, but it's actually kind of close. And I think I was maybe being a little bit overly nice this game. Like, I don't know. I probably should have been like more. I could have maybe pushed these deer a little bit away, you know, shoot the deer with my scouts, and but I didn't. I don't know. Whatever. Either way, I charged this villager here. I think it's probably maybe better to just try to kill this villager than risk going here. I mean, now that I see it, like this knight maybe could have just got here and ended the game at 6 minutes. Because I maybe could have just dove that. But it's close. You know, sometimes it's like the higher risk thing, right? Because say I did kill that villager, that would be a nice pickup. But then say I sent the knight all the way here, and then all of a sudden the TC gets built right before a knight arrives, then the knight does 0 damage. So it's always kind of like, you know, I don't know, you gotta kind of decide which one you want to go for, I suppose. This is going to end up being a very nice wall for him because it cuts off this portion of the map. And yeah, now all of a sudden I just, you know, can't attack from here. So yeah, very nice wall, very cheap wall. Could do the same thing, like nice little wall segment there. Yep, very nice wall segment. Here you should do another one. Like, you probably don't want to build a wall like from here to here, but the small wall segments are really good. Like if you put one from like here to here, then units can't go through this way. They would have to go through like the TC. And then, like I said earlier, same thing here, like one wall segment like here to here or something. Those are really good wall segments. You know, he ends up losing Ville here. He gets some idle time just because he's a little bit slow on his walls. Their spearmen are a little bit out of position. So already, you know, quite good. One villager kill and quite a bit of idle time. And now I feel like I have map control, so I end up going for these deer. I could maybe go for the boar, but I don't know. Maybe I should have. I don't know. The boar's a little bit further away. these deer were very close to my base, so I was like, you know, let me just go here. It's super short walking distance and a little bit easier to protect. And I did one really good thing is I used like I think just a single archer to push all the deer as close to the hunting cabin as possible. And so yeah, it's very nice, right? Like you can see how close all these deer are killed to the hunting cabin. So the villagers have like very little walking time, which is, you know, just very nice. So he does end up doing this wall segment here, which, yeah, I guess that's fine. He could have, yeah, kind of basically accomplishes what I was saying, but yeah, he could have maybe done another one like from here to here, or I don't know, like here to here, but. So yeah, at this point I'm just doing 1 TC aggression. I get 3 eco upgrades, and I believe also survival techniques. Yep, I get the hunting upgrade. So now I'm 2 stables, 2 archer ranges, and yeah, basically I'm just gonna try to be super annoying and do a lot of eco damage. And if we actually look at Filisberto's perspective, he's mismacroed very heavily at the moment. I think part of it is when you build a town center on hunt, it's nice to be on the hunt, but then it's kind of weird because it, like, where the only place these villagers, newly trained villagers, can go to is like the hunt or on a gold mine, which kind of don't really want to rally a TC on a gold mine because then you can accidentally float gold. And he should, I don't know if he scouted much, but he sees I have a lot of units and he's on 2 TCs. He should just be playing to not die to this, like, all this pressure. But you're starting to see, he's starting to float quite a bit of food, and he kind of has a lot of villagers on gold. He could maybe go for a couple eco upgrades, but his macro is a little bit sloppy. And he's now making a lot of camel archers, which I don't really think is the best call, because they're very expensive units, and yeah, I mean, archers just kill them, you know, pretty efficiently, and RUS can spam a ton of archers, so it's not horrible. Obviously, I have knights, but I think you'd be better off just going like making a ton of archers and a ton of spearmen, and then maybe make like 1 or 2 camel archers, or maybe like 3. Have like 2 camel archers in the fight, and then raid with like a single camel archer. But yeah. And yeah, the thing with, you know, Abbasid is once you get fresh food stuff, your villagers cost like very little food. So it's very easy to accidentally float too much food with Abbasid, and you're basically seeing it here, right? Like, he randomly is having like 1,200 food while he's getting pushed super heavily. So this is obviously very bad for him. He's not going to send all these camel archers to try to raid, which, you know, is good. Honestly, it would probably be better if he sent like 2, maybe, instead of all of them. That's a little bit tough, because he's obviously getting pushed. He should garrison all of his villagers inside this TC right now immediately. He is pretty quick with it. Yeah, he does. He is pretty quick with the garrison. And yeah, I basically just have to back out because there's going to be a lot of TC fire. So I could have maybe got a charge off, but I didn't know. You know, I didn't know if he had a lot of spearmen here or not. I'm seeing one thing is, like, look at all of his idols. I don't know why these ones are idle. I don't know if he did seek shelter or what, but they hopped in the tower and now all of a sudden they're idle, which is obviously not good. And even these villagers that built a wall, you know, lots of idle villagers here, which is, you know, he gets them back to work pretty quickly, but still. He ends up going for this upgrade, which is a bit weird. Forestry. I mean, it's not. It just does. Usually people don't get up this upgrade because it's just like not good. I think it's just like a very poorly designed upgrade. But especially in this situation where like kind of every resource matters, and like if you're gonna spend gold on this, I mean it's 50 gold. Like better upgrade would be like horticulture or I don't know, like blacksmith upgrades, but he's like floating a bit of too much gold anyways. And now he's, you know, I was trying to go for this boar, but he ends up coming with these camel riders, so I end up having to pull back with these villagers, which is a little bit frustrating. You know, I'm now researching siege engineering, and I'm basically gearing up to do a big ramp timing push. I have a lot of knights and a fair amount of archers. I'm on 1 TC, I'm down 12 villas, so he's got the, you know, pretty good eco lead. Probably should, you know, rebuild this wall here. But look at his macro. He's so heavily mismacroed. Like, he needs to be either scouting more or he needs to be knowing what's going on. But he basically is like floating resources to go Castle Age, which I don't know if he is doing this on purpose, if he's trying to go Castle Age on purpose, or if this is on accident, but yeah, I'm not sure. I would have to ask him. But I don't know, going 2 TC, like 2 TC versus 1 TC, you're already being greedy. But then going 2 TC and Castle Age versus a 1 TC all-in is extremely greedy, right? Like, you're being greedy twice versus an all-in, which is just never good. He's starting to spam a bunch of stables, so it kind of maybe indicates that he wants to get Castle and then get a bunch of Knights out, or Camel Riders, but yeah, it's just not worth it, right? He's floating a lot of resources. Maybe he's not scouting my army enough, but I don't think he sees this right now. But look what's incoming here. And yeah, he really should just be spending his res. And even if he is trying to go imp, like, he should be going imp already, or not imp, Castle Age. Like, yeah, so this upgrade is 125 gold. If he cancels this upgrade, and he would basically have enough resources to go Castle Age. So if he can cancel this upgrade, he would already be on his way to Castle Age, which, you know, then, I don't know, at least he's spending his resources and he's not floating them, and maybe he gets up to Castle Age on time and he gets units out and, you know, he gets a bunch of Knights out, but meanwhile he's researching Boot Camp, which is affecting like 8 units, and it's just like preventing him from going Castle, and it's making him float a shit ton of res, so yeah, just not good to, this upgrade is very bad to get at the moment. Yeah. And here we go. So yeah, maybe being a little bit too passive with his army. He's not able to find my villas here much. And here I'm doing the big push is incoming. So okay, it looks like he now sees this and he's like, holy shit, that's a ton of units. So he like kind of panic mode and queues up. Looks like he queues up 4 horsemen from all 3 stables. Excuse me. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, he should queue up units from these archer. Okay, he queues up 1 archer, but obviously he should make some units from the archer ranges and the barracks also. And yeah, all of a sudden, like, okay, he's got a bunch of units in queue. It's gonna take a little while for them to get trained, but he's still floating a lot of resources, even with all those units in queue, right? He randomly has like 800 gold that he just can't use, which feels very bad. You know, he could maybe build a blacksmith and get like pierce armor upgrade, pierce damage upgrade, but you know, he's just randomly floating 800 gold while I'm like doing an all-in push. Now his army's a little bit out of position. And okay, he now needs to just like not die to this. He needs to garrison villas inside the TC. And yeah, now he's got like 30 idle villagers. This is just a very awkward position, right? Basically, I'm taking this fight. I'm forcing this fight as RUS while he's floating. He was like floating like 2k res, right? If you count the resources that's like in production, he just has so much resources that's just not on the field right now, which is really hurting him. Where in comparison, you look at me, I'm floating, you know, significantly less res. Yeah, I'm floating, you know, way less res. So yeah, now suddenly this fight, I force this fight to happen now, while, you know, his camel archers are away. He does a good job here, starts picking off reinforcements, but, you know, yeah, so much of his res is just not on the field, and yeah, this is just really bad. So he's now lost 7 villagers. I used the rams just to kill, I think, like some houses, the mills, maybe detach the Golden Age tier 1 bonus. It's still there, but, you know, just kind of chip away at it. And, you know, a lot of players would go for the town center or the House of Wisdom, but it's not worth it. Like, they have so much HP, they're never gonna like die. It's better to just chip away at like other buildings, right? Like, just pick up a barracks, boom, you kill the barracks. You know, kill a house, kill some archer ranges. Like, that's significantly better than spending like 3 minutes attacking this TC or this House of Wisdom and never killing it, right? So he's in full panic mode, forced to run with all of his villagers. He's got like, and now I'm sending knights over here, right? This timing attack has just worked out so good. And yeah, it was basically just a 1 TC timing push versus a 2 TC Abbasid player that ended up floating way too much resources. And even now, he has 1,000 gold, right? Like, he just, yeah, he put way too many villagers on gold, because like Abbasid, you don't use gold, right? Like, all of your units are food and wood. Like, you need very little gold. The only thing you're gonna use gold for is a couple eco upgrades, like maybe 2 blacksmith upgrades. So he never should have had as many villagers on gold, and that led him to accidentally floating too much gold. You know, maybe he was trying to go up to Castle Age, but like I said, he could have like canceled boot camp and got up to Castle Age sooner, and Yeah, it was just a bit sloppy. I think I kind of messed up here where like he actually ends up getting horsemen out and like killing a lot of these archers, which is probably a little bit sloppy by me. I've already killed 15 villas at this point and did a ton of damage. Like I probably should have just brought these knights back, but I was like okay with the trade-off kind of because I'm now just killing this TC, which is pretty huge. So it's like it's like whatever. I guess those archers die. But you know I killed this town center, so it's whatever. Maybe a little bit sloppy by me, but like I said, still I killed 15 vills. And yeah, he's being like pretty annoying with these camel riders, and they're really good at like killing villas and taking map control. And I think at this point I realized I've killed a lot of villas, and the only way I could lose is if like I go for a boar and he ends up like killing 8 villagers without me noticing. So I kind of play more cautious, and I just start like mixing in farms and going for like berries, because yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to lose like a bunch of villagers to like random raids. So, yeah, I'm just like whatever. I guess I'll just mix in some farms. But yeah, you're still seeing like him having like 1,300 gold is so bad. He's got 15 villas idled inside this TC. It was nice he like snuck out the villas. Like this is very nice. I think I was looking for his villas. The fact that he like snuck the villas out here, very good. And this too, right? Snuck all these villas out. I just like couldn't find a Zico, so that stuff was really good. And then he still was gathering gold with like 1,500 gold. But yeah, he basically realizes he has like nothing to push those knights back. And yeah, that was game 3. So yeah, I ended up beating him 3-0, which obviously felt very good. An amazing way for me to kick off my experience at the LAN. And yeah, that felt very good. Like going into it, I wasn't sure how I felt. He beat me in the qualifier. I didn't ban his Mongols in the qualifier. Here I obviously did. But still, he beat me in the qualifier, and my practice leading up to the LAN, like I said, I was playing the ladder a bunch. Wasn't really climbing the ELO a lot. Big part, maybe I was playing a lot of different civs, so I was really expanding my civ pool, but I wasn't feeling super confident going into it. And so yeah, I didn't know if I was going to beat him or not. I was probably feeling like 50-50 if I would win the series or not. And I ended up winning 3-0, so obviously felt extremely good about that. Great way to start the tournaments. And I did talk to him right after series. I was kind of saying, yeah, man, I think one of the biggest things is, you kind of mess up the civ draft quite a bit, which I think was pretty significant in this series, where it really showed in the first 2 games. Like game 1, I played HRE on Cliffside, and game 2 I played English, right? 2 extremely strong civs. Game 3, I think matchup wise was more even. Like maybe Abbasid's maybe even favored there in that situation. So I think that one was more matchup favored, but I still ended up taking game 3. So yeah, it felt really good to go 3-0 in the first best of 5. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video, and if you're enjoying this and you want me to continue to cover the rest of the King of the Rockies tournaments. This was the North America LAN tournament that had an $8,000 prize pool, just a bit over $8,000, and it was the top 8 players from North America. Alright guys, this is it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.